Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Kshetra and I'm again here with a new concept of multi-threading. So this would be the final concept of multi-threading and this would be the last video. So let's see what is about the today's video. So the first concept of here is thread priorities. As we have discussed earlier, priorities of thread are very important. This is the main difference which makes it stand out from the multiprocessing, and it also saves the thread from a deadlock situation. So basically every thread has its own priority and the priorities are from 1 to 10. The different types of priorities would be min priority, normal priority and max priority. Basically the default priority of a thread is normal priority, and that would be 5, and maximum priority is 10 and minimum priority is 1. So depending upon these thread priorities, the scheduler schedules the thread and those threads are executed from the processor. So let's see an example depending upon the priorities how it is working. So we have a class test multi priority extending thread, that is here the thread is created by using the thread class, that is by inheriting the thread class. So we have a public void run where we have a running thread name. We get the running thread name by using the thread dot current thread dot get name, which we have learned earlier, and next we get the priority of that is the void run method. Then next we have public static void main string arguments where we have m1 and m2, two threads create two objects created over here, so that one is for the priority and that is multi-priority one we need for minimum and maximum. So m1 dot set priority thread minimum priority and m2 dot set priority thread dot maximum priority, m1 dot start and m2 dot start. This means the run method has been created over here, and we first get that the name would be thread running thread name is thread 0 would come, and we'll have the first would be the minimum priority. So minimum priority is 0, so priority is 0 as we have the running thread priorities, this is the statement we would get as 0. The next would be again m2 dot start is we have running thread name, then that again would be running thread name is 1, and the priority of it is here we need maximum priority, so we'll get maximum priority, that is running thread priority is 10. So these four statements would be the final output of this this program. So next let's see what synchronization. What is synchronization? Synchronization is nothing but it is same like priorities, but it is the thing in which we have when we have two threads and the same threads are sharing the resource, that is one after the other time. And when synchronization of threads is done, we have clear input. If when synchronization is not done, then we do not understand the output. First of all, it is not clear, so it is better to use synchronization when we need to share the resources between the threads. And basically why do we use synchronization? And we need synchronization basically due to the thread interference, that is when two threads are sharing resources, one thread interferes the other. That should not happen because each thread is independent of each other, and sometimes it leads to inconsistency, that is when they are sharing, half of the thread gets executed and another half of another thread gets executed. That time the output gets mixed up, right? That would lead to inconsistent state. That should not never happen, and it also gains and loss all that happens during transactions performance. So this leads to inconsistency. To avoid all this, we need synchronization. So let's see how synchronization is done in this method. We have a class table where we need to print a 5 table of here and we need to print a 100 table of here. So let's see the program. We have a class table and this is a synchronized void print table int n, where I equals to 1, I is less than and equal to 5, I plus plus, that is find n into I. So this means find to 1, find to 2, find to 3, like this we need to get the output, and that is 5, 5, 10, 15, like that we need to get the output. So try thread dot sleep is 400, so we are interrupting a sleeping thread, so we have again immediately a catch, that is exception. Next we have another class extending thread where we have my thread 1 table t, this dot t equals t. This means that the present condition of the thread gets you'll get the output of it. Then public void run, t dot printable 5. So here the 5 table gets printed and we get the final output. Then next we have my thread to extending thread, where we have t dot printable 100. Same way 100, 200, 300, 400 till 5. I is less than and equal to 5, right? So till 5 we need to get. So here the threads are sharing the resource. We can see that here. See the main method where we have test synchronization 2 is the class for the main method, and we have an object created for the table. Only one object is created, and then we have thread t1 equals to my thread. Same, both the threads are accessing the same object, and we have t1 dot start and t2 dot start. Both are started here. So if here you all can see that in the starting synchronized void I have written. This is done so that the final output would be first for the 5 table and the next for the 100 table. If I have not written here synchronized void, then the final output would be 5, 100, 10, 200. Like that we would get the output. Yeah, that is synchronization. If we have not done that, we would get that output. That would be because here you can see that the threads are sharing the same resource. So that would never be synchronized and it would lead to inconsistency state, right? After one thread is completed, we need to get the output of the another thread. If we get the output in between like this, then this leads to inconsistency. It is not at all correct. So that is why we need to synchronize the threads, as you all can see. Now what is inter-thread communication? Basically to synchronize threads and to set up priorities and all, to all this, we need cooperation between thread. As we know, intercommunication functions, that is functions are communicating between each other. Like that in thread there would be communication between each other. That is when a thread is paused, again it is running or critical. Sometimes it is waiting. That is it is just like sleep, it waits, and again this waiting position is in such state, that is it remains in the same state until and unless another thread notifies it to get into runnable state or notifies all the threads to runnable state. Then that time it again goes into the runnable state, waits for the process, and it enters into running state. So in this way there is communication between one thread to another thread. That is when one is in wait state, the another thread notifies it. So there is obviously a communication, right? So this is the inter-thread communication. So this inter-thread communication helps in preventing the lock situations, and it helps in preventing the inconsistent states. So this is very important, inter-thread communication. And let's see what is wait in detail. Wait is nothing but it is just like sleep method, where it goes to sleep until some other thread comes and enters the same monitors and calls it to notify. Notify is nothing but when a thread is sleeping and the thread comes and wakes up the thread, then on the same object, that is an object, when one thread has an object and another thread is notifying it on the same object, that is waking up on the same object, that is called as notify method. And notify all is when it one thread, when all the threads are sleeping and one thread comes and wakes up all the threads on the same object, then that is called as notify all. The basic difference between notify and notify all is here only one thread is waked up, whereas here all the threads are waked up. This is called as notify all. And wait is, as I have told you all, sleep is static method, whereas wait is not a static method, and it can be for any thread can be sleeping, but whereas sleep gets resumed by itself, here it needs to wait for another thread to notify. So this is the inter-thread communication, and yes, this is the ending of the chapter. I hope all of you all really enjoyed this chapter of threading. I know I really loved this chapter. It is really very interesting, and it is very useful in Java programming also. Although and some basic disadvantages which I would just tell you all, I have not just presented them. The basic differences is, although threads are useful, then there are some disadvantages of it. Is when we use threads for longer time, since they just like use up the resources for large, it is not better to use the threads all the time. So we need to just check up on that concept once. Okay, so overall I just hope all of you all liked my video today, and if you all really liked my video, please follow the link you all can see above so that you all can get notifications about the videos which I make. And if you all have any queries, please comment it. and I hope you all like today's video. Thank you guys for really watching this video and showing your support and love towards me. Bye everyone. I'll be back again with a new video again.